So there we got two of the strongest, most powerful guys in all of comics going head to head. Sentry versus Hell. Who wins? Well, let's find out. After ingesting an experimental super soldier formula, the lowly Robert Reynolds became the Sentry, one of the first and mightiest superheroes. He was trapped in a constant battle with his dark side known as the Void. After his membership with the Avengers, he joined Norman Osborn's Dark Avengers, and died after single-handedly destroying Asgard. Most recently, Doctor Strange resurrected the Sentry to help him take on Loki. Now, Sentry is one of the most powerful heroes in the Marvel Universe, and it's been stated that he has the power of 1,000,000 exploding suns. Spider-Man and a group of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents even ranked him as the most powerful hero on Earth, with Hulk being ranked as second, and Black Bolt being ranked as third. However, that list didn't include Thor because he wasn't around at the time, and the events of World War Hulk might have proven this list invalid. He possesses incredible superhuman strength, and is strong enough to overpower Ares, fight against Hulk, and beat down the female version of Ultron. Sentry also possesses superhuman speed, and is fast enough to catch bullets in his hand and fly to the sun and back in just a few moments. It's been stated that Sentry is invincible. Oh, except for his fragile mind. I should really say that he's physically invincible. He's immune to Rogue's powers, and after he was killed by Thor, he spent a period of time in the sun, where he was burned down to an atom and regenerated endlessly until he was pulled out. And this is another thing. He can resurrect himself, resurrect the dead, and resurrect and heal others. Sentry is also able to turn intangible and phase through objects, can emit a wave of radiation that can calm down the Hulk, and can even turn invisible. According to Emma Frost, Sentry is one of the most powerful telepaths on the planet, but most of his mental powers are used to maintain his physical form. He also has matter manipulation powers, as he can reform himself after being blown apart, and it's even been said that he can control all forms of matter on the molecular level like Molecule Man. And then another quarter of Hell. Hell is a Kryptonian clone created from the cells of countless Kryptonians. He came to Earth seeking to destroy it in order to restore Krypton by using the energy released to protect his spaceship during time travel. Resolving to save Krypton, Hell believed that Superman could help him, so he began watching him and everyone close to him, such as Superboy and Supergirl. Hell is so strong and powerful that he's easily overpowered Superboy, has nearly knocked Superman out, left him weakened and bloody, and hit him so hard that Superboy questioned whether or not Clark could survive. One time an angered Supergirl charged into Hell at super speed, only for her to bounce back from the attack, and Hell wasn't even moved at all. He's also durable enough to take a bull rush attack from Superman, take punches that shook the planet, and could be felt from the Earth's core all to the Watchtower, and Hell was overall fine. Just like all other Kryptonians, Hell is exceptionally fast, but he's also unique as he has the ability of teleportation. Hell's teleported Supergirl from the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean to the surface of the sun, and even teleported into the Fortress of Solitude without Superman even knowing. Hell's actually got a ton of unique powers that other Kryptonians, like Superman, don't have. For instance, he can create an astral projection of himself, show illusions, and telepathically control people, travel to alternate timelines, and he also has heat vision and even the ability to release energy from his hands to cause explosions. Then, like Superboy, Hell also has telekinetic powers. He telekinetically restrained Superman, Wonder Woman, and Superboy, easily stopped Superman in his tracks, and telekinetically crushed Foyer's heart and exploded Kryptonians under a red sun. So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, I think we all want this to be the best fight possible, so we're going to say that this is a stable version of Sentry. Bob usually holds back in a fight in order for the Void not to take control, and is relatively mentally unstable. But with Sentry being stable in this fight, he won't have to worry about the Void taking over and is at a higher level of power. So I suppose the first place to start with all this is by taking a look at their physicality. Now, Hell is basically a super version of Superman, as he was able to overpower Clark and easily knock away and beat Superboy. In fact, Hell hit Superman so hard with a punch that Superboy actually questioned if Clark was able to survive it. But even though Hell has overpowered Superman, that doesn't instantly mean that he's stronger than Sentry. We can't underestimate Sentry here. I mean, he's overpowered Thor before and went toe-to-toe with World War Hulk, which is a version of Hulk who basically just trashed his way through every hero on Earth. Sentry's even overpowered the Void before, who had broken every bone in the Hulk's body. Although it's possible that Sentry's an advantage over the Void, since the Void is actually a part of him. And I know Sentry has some lower showings as well, like when he had to have Miss Marvel's and Wonder Man's help in lifting the helicarrier, but every hero has low showings, no matter who they are. I mean, even though Hell's main claim to fame is overpowering Superman, and so he hasn't had really any lifting feats, Clark's actually has some low showings. In fact, he required the help of Wonder Woman to lift an aircraft carrier. Basically the exact same thing with Sentry and the helicarrier. Speed-wise, we honestly haven't really seen much from Hell. He speed blitzed Superman and slammed him into the ground, but honestly a lot of heroes have been lucky enough to catch Clark off guard and quote-unquote speed blitz them. And that's really all we've seen from Hell, although he does have the ability to teleport. And using his powers of teleportation, Hell has slipped into the Fortress of Solitude without Superman knowing, and teleported from Metropolis to the Atlantic Ocean and back with Clark not even realizing that he was gone. But in terms of actual speed, well, Sentry's consistently proven he can move at faster than light speeds, as he's flown from Earth to Saturn in a few seconds, and he stated on multiple occasions that he operates in the milliseconds or faster. Plus, Sentry's actually able to teleport as well, being able to teleport from the sun to the Earth instantly. Then with durability, well, Hell is obviously taking punches from Kal-El, but not just any regular punches. Hell took a punch that was supposedly able to split a planet in half, with basically no signs of damage, and an angered Supergirl charged at him, only for her not to be able to move him at all, and even bounce back and hurt her hands from the attack. That's very impressive. And even though Sentry has taken attacks from World War Hulk directly to the face and asked for more, I might just say that Hell is more durable. However, Sentry has the ability to instantly regenerate. That's will instantly start healing from any attack, and is actually regenerated from just a skeleton in a matter of moments. And there's also the fact that Sentry is essentially immortal. Even if Hell is somehow lucky enough to kill the guy, Sentry has been able to come back to life multiple times, even returning when Molecule Man destroyed him on a molecular level, and when Morgan Le Fay went back in time, killed him before he gained his powers, and erased Sentry from the timeline. Both times he was simply able to reform out of nothing. In fact, it appears that Sentry actually has to choose to die in order to remain dead. But the thing is, this doesn't have to be a solely physical fight. Hell actually has a ton of powers that other normal Kryptonians don't have. For instance, he's able to create astral projections of himself, telepathically control Superboy, and project illusions to making Supergirl think she had been attacked by Superman. However, a telepathic attack is not going to work against Sentry, especially when it's coming from someone like Hell. Sentry is a surprisingly powerful telepath, and Hell is just really weak in comparison. I mean, Bob has erased all memories of him from everyone on Earth, has resisted Doctor Strange's magic and telepathy, and Emma Frost and Charles Xavier had to combine their powers to enter Sentry's mind. And even then, Sentry was able to overpower them and cast them out. Yeah, Hell is small beans in comparison. However, Hell's telekinesis is possibly a very different story. He's telekinetically stopped Superman and Wonder Woman in their tracks and sent them flying away, actually injured Superman, crushed a Kryptonian's heart, and he even said that he was able to break down and rip open Superboy on the molecular level and atom by atom. However, even though Sentry doesn't have telekinesis, he arguably has something much stronger and more powerful: molecular manipulation. Sentry was able to overpower Molecule Man using molecular manipulation. And even though this wasn't the same Molecule Man who went up against the Beyonder, it was a Molecule Man who easily dispatched the Dark Avengers, and did things like turning Dakin into basically a swarm of vines and plants. Now, molecular manipulation and telekinesis are obviously different, and telekinesis was able to hurt Superman, but Sentry beat Molecule Man, and can basically use his powers to do anything. So these two guys are obviously very powerful and evenly matched. But who actually comes out on top? Well, Hell has impressively taken down an overpowered Superman, was actually not the only one that's done it before. This is also kind of the only impressive thing that Hell has done. He hasn't been around in comics for very long and hasn't made many appearances. And other characters started out real strong and got gradually weaker, like Bane, or even arguably Doomsday. That alone is kind of a flimsy argument to say that Sentry will win, but the point is that a longer history at a consistent power level is more impressive. And when these two guys are basically at the same power level, it's things like that you have to look at. And it's not even mentioning Sentry's other powers that Hell doesn't have, like weather manipulation, energy absorption and manipulation, force field creation, invisibility, and even limited shapeshifting. At the end of the day, I've got to give the edge in victory here to Sentry. But what do y'all think? I would love to hear your thoughts, so sign off in the comments down below. Also, be sure to subscribe button. More videos just one every single weekday, and I will see you next time.